Hey everybody, welcome to the Adventures of House Tanner. We're gonna briefly, I'm Jason Tondro, your host and the GM for tonight. I'm gonna briefly ask everybody to introduce themselves and the names of their characters. I like to go in reverse status order. So for tonight, I think Dies first.
Your audio totally cut out on me, so you totally said Maehna, didn't you?
I said Dies first.
So, hi, I'm Di.
Di, do you want to
playing Maehna the Falconer?
You do. You have a Twitter. I'm sorry, not Twitter. You have a Twitch stream.
I do. It's on. Well, it will be coming off of temporary hiatus fairly soon. Now that I am acclimated to the new hell that is the day job. Anyone who likes sizzly commentary along with hilarious gameplay of varying quality, feel free to head up Twitch. Also on the YouTubes at Elusive Bacon with a 0. Kind of like the little bacon dude right on the screen there.
And we'll put a
the Twitch.
We'll put a link to that in the show notes. Okay.
Oh, if you're giving me a chance to plug something, don't have the link ready, of course, but recently released a kind of parody song that most people here won't really understand, but this will someday.
Okay.
A funny little mashup between the games Portal and Undertale.
Okay. Is that the link? YouTube
in-character vocals done by yours truly.
With what done by you?
In-character
in-character what?
Original lyrics. I rewrote the lyrics and sung them in character.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Right on. Okay, so Di's playing Maehna the Falconer for us tonight. And then somebody else go. We'll just run through the list.
I'm Deborah. I'm playing Benjamin, Master of the Guards.
I'm Tanner, playing Will Tanner, the heir to the house. Yeah.
And Garrett, you have a temporary character for tonight, a Grog, for those of you who are Ars Magica players, which there are very few, but we can call him a red shirt.
Yeah, I am. He's a hotshot archer whose name I'm forgetting and I'm trying to look up, but
Steffan Longarm.
Steffan Longarm, right.
Yeah, I started to create NPCs based on how you guys spend your glory points to try to give you sort of a tangible reward for doing that. So when James spent glory on his archery company, I created this 14-year-old archer kid who is now your red shirt going into braving the forest unknown. All right, so we're going to start off with the troop of characters. All of Maehna, Will, Benjamin, Steffan, Corlin, and probably a couple of soldiers, just a couple of guards from the town to provide you with some grunts and baggage carriers. All of you are marching into the forest. It's very dense trees. Like when you enter into the forest, you can no longer see the sun above you. It's very dense woods. There's hills that are steep and little streams that wind between the hills and maybe bandit trails. And as you look into the forest, there's also a dense layer of fog that fills much of the forest lowlands. And we'll zoom in on Will, and Will remembers a flashback that you had before you came into the forest. So let's pick up with Will in the tavern at Tannerton. which was much nicer than this, which had drinks and warm fires and chunks of boar roasting over the spit. And there you are with Sir John Fatcastle, one of your friends in the bar. And he's like, "Oh, Will, so good to see you, my boy." He slaps you on the shoulder, and you're just in time to refill my ale.
Me? So this is a flashback?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure, John. I'm not used to filling other people's ale, I must admit, but you know what? You've earned enough with me, and right on, brother.
Right on.
Let's have another drink.
He says, so everyone says that we are soon to move on Durain's forest.
That looks to be the plan. I'll be right up front there, leading the charge. I'm really, blazing new trails personally.
He shakes his head. You have to find a way out of this, Will.
I tried. Believe me, I'm trying every way possible, but it looks like I'm going to be involved.
Have you ever walked through the Wyvern Wood before?
I can't say I have. I mean, it sounds scary as hell.
Do you know why they call it the Wyvern Wood?
I'm gonna imagine it has wyverns in it, if those exist.
Have you ever seen a wyvern?
No.
No.
It sounds like some fantasy.
Wyverns don't exist, but once they did, and the great legendary hero Durain. Hence the forest's name.
Yeah.
Durain, he was a hero of the first men. Redoubtable, fearless, good with a spear. And he fought the wyvern, and its blood sprouted the forest. And because of the creatures...
That can't be good.
No, it can't. and because of the creature's twisted nature and dark soul, the forest became dark and twisted, like its twisted soul.
Gulp.
The place is infested with outlaws, Will.
Yeah, I may want to get some mail armor for this, I think.
Then they'll just hear you coming.
Oh God, I think I need another round. This is bad. What have I done? The crown weighs heavy on one's head. Fat Castle, you wouldn't know this, but
I too am a king of sorts. A bandit king with my loyal soldiers. And he grabs like the guy next to him in an elbow, Isn't that right, Dirk? Yes. Whatever you say, Jarek. You see? I am bandit out. I'm the bandit king.
Did you used to be a bandit?
What's that?
Did you used to be a bandit?
Yeah, he
Fat
used to be.
Castle?
Yeah, he's when you spent your glory point on the law in the.
Oh yeah, this guy. Yeah,
that's when you got Jarek Fatcastle.
So do you know? Have you heard about the bandits in Durain's forest at all? Do you?
He like looks around, like everybody else in the bar starts to laugh. Oh, why? That would be illegal, Will. and Dirk, the guy sitting next to him, says, like, leans over towards you and says, "He's been living in Durain's forest for years. Where do you think he's from?"
What? Oh, well, I think we need some intel from you. Just on the sly. I'll keep it secret. I'll keep it safe.
Well, I told you the most important thing, which is don't go in.
But why? Well, you know, okay, the woods are spooky. There's like darkness everywhere. But we're talking about like what are the numbers of guys in there? Do you know how many and where they're at? And
whole generations of outlaws have been in there, in the forest.
Yeah. Well, are they well armed? Are they like, you had to have seen something? You're in the woods I mean, it's not that big.
Well, it's leagues long, but it's more than just the length of the forest. It's between the trees and the fog, and it's so easy to get lost in there, and that's why people go there. They go there to get lost.
So do you know your way around?
I follow the road or the paths.
Yeah.
The old road. It's all mostly overgrown now, but it winds through the forest. And there are paths that lead to Dugan's camp. You know, he's talking about Dugan the Red, who's the sort of the famous outlaw leader of the forest. And there are ancient ruins in the forest from all the times the Targaryens tried to build castles in there. To no avail.
Oh, man.
Yeah, everybody, one last drink for my good friend Will Tanner.
It was a short run, but a good one, everyone.
Short run, but a good one. Remember that, everybody. We're gonna put it on his tombstone. Okay. All right. Well, is there anything you'd like to try any specific kind of facts that you would like to try to get from Fat Castle before you leave? Other than what you've already got.
If there are many paths, it might be useful to know which one specifically to follow.
Well, apparently he tells you there is a road, or the ruins of a road, which move through the forest, and he tells you that the southern end of that road is a place called South Hall, which is the ruins on your map. Now, I've got I have pulled up the map of the forest. I'm going to show it to you guys right quick, and we'll probably be going back and forth on it all night. You guys see the forest?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so if you look at hex 1008 down here on the bottom, 10.08, that's South Hall. And he tells you that there's a road that starts there and winds through the forest and comes out somewhere north, like north of Rugar Hold. Maybe in hex 1005 or 1105. And when he had to go through the woods, that's what he stuck to, because he would get lost inside the woods without the road. He also suggested there are many other bandit trails throughout the forest. Many of the because travelers through the forest use the road, that's also an obvious place for ambushes.
Yeah. So we could head on that road or veer off onto one of these alternate paths, but we don't know where we'd end up.
Right. Now, the way I sort of have this adventure lined up is that as you enter the various hexes and search it, you will find shit. So it's a little bit of exploration. And I'll add to this map. I'll add to my map here as you guys travel through the various hexes of the woods. it will get decorated with your blood. I'm sorry, was that out loud?
Just a touch.
I'm working on a new character over here, just to get a head start.
Destiny points. Remember, this is a game where you can spend a destiny point to not die.
Yeah,
you're good. Okay. So we'll rejoin the group, marching into the forest. Benjamin, let's say that you've got like a couple of city guard, a couple of the town guard that you brought with you. These guys are not, especially amazing fighters or anything, but they're standard members of the guard, which means they have, they're wearing heavy leather armor, and they carry spears, and they have awareness, endurance, and fighting of 3.
Okay.
They're just like regular members of the town guard, and let's name them. John and James. I'm named after 2 people that left comments on our videos.
Nice.
So Johan Dichter was watching one of our videos and was commenting on the system never gets used and very much, and he's eager to see how it plays out. And then a good old friend, Jim Seals, down there in Riverside, has also been watching. So we'll give you guys some red shirts.
See, you watch us, you became part of the thing.
That's right, you're part of the story. So we'll just call them like these guys are officially under your command. Okay.
Okay. I'll get them into fighting shape.
All right. And then you have Corlin with you for the moment because James could not join us tonight. Corlin will be administered as a sort of group NPC. So his main job is to decide what hex you're moving into first, like where you enter the forest. So you guys have, like, where would you like to start? You have your map of the woods.
What wasn't the original plan to go to the castle?
Well, it's totally up to you. The castle, Rugar Hold, is a good destination. Yes.
Yeah, that's where we're going.
Yeah, because I think your plan was to see if the bandits are there, and if there are, how many of them.
Right. We figured that'd be a good place to get data.
Right. So your lands are on the far south edge of the forest.
Mm-hmm.
Tannerton is right off the southern edge of this map.
Okay.
So you can enter the forest from the south, but that black line all the way along the right side of the map, that's just the Great Road. That's the King's Road. So you could take the King's Road anywhere north that you want to.
Well, we're already north, aren't we? Because we're at the other hold.
What's that?
Aren't we north and visiting? So
No,
why would we go all the way back down to Tanner?
You guys all returned from Castle Grenward. You all came home, and you gathered some soldiers and got Maehna, and everyone is you can head into the forest and you had to gather supplies and get the stuff that you wanted for this mission.
Makes more sense now.
Yeah, so you can figure out where you can enter the forest from basically anywhere. But yeah, the castle is in 905, hex 905.
Right there.
Right, I know.
Oh.
So this is where the road starts, was 1008. So there.
By the way, your best scout in the group is actually Maehna, whose survival is higher than Corlin's.
All right.
Do we want to take the road, or we want to scout off the road and hopefully not get ambushed? I would think not being on the road is best.
The informant mentioned that the path wound up around the forest, but still came out somewhere north of Dugan's Hold, presumably road.
Around hex 1005 or 1105.
Yeah.
Given that we don't really have a guide through the forest, Maehna's going to suggest searching from the north instead of coming in through the forest.
Sounds like a good plan, miss.
So, Maehna, do you want to try to find that where the road comes out of the forest that that Fat Castle was talking about?
Yeah, if we start searching in probably 11:05.
Yep. Okay. Tanner, Will, are you good with that?
Yeah, so we'd go up the King's Road and then
Yes.
veer off around there.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
We're still probably going to get ambushed.
Oh, of course.
All right. You guys set out with supplies, including maybe about a week's worth of food and bottles of water. You don't know what you're going to be able to find inside the forest. A lot of the supplies are being carried by your red shirts, John and James. And you take the ferry across the Trident. So you wave goodbye to young Ned, the survivor of the Ned family. And he pulls you across the river ferry. And then you take the King's Road north. And you pass the inn at the crossroads. Every hex is about an hour of travel along the road. It's pretty smooth and easy travel. I'm going to presume you guys are on foot because you can't take your horses into the woods.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Does anybody here have awareness? Maehna, you have awareness of 3, I think.
Correct.
Okay. Anybody beat that? Anybody have awareness of 4 or better?
I mean,
Will? No?
Nope, it's a 3.
Okay, Maehna. While you're in, while you guys are on the ferry, you do see what looks like remains of some kind of castle or some kind of some kind of ruins. What you actually see, let me get this filled in here.
oh, fancy.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah.
You can actually see like an old ruin right here at the corner. It's up on a hill inside the woods, overlooking the river and the road. As you get off the ferry and you're about to head north, and you can see just these old stone ruins up on the hill.
Ruins?
Yeah.
Hey, maybe we should check them out, miss.
Maehna, you are the woman in charge.
Oh, crikey.
Do you want to keep going north, or do you want to check out the ruins?
Our goal is Rugar's Hold. The ruins don't look too far off our path.
Correct.
I suppose a quick foray into the forest to see just what kind of dealing with wouldn't be too terrible of an idea. So yeah, we can veer off and check out the ruins real quick.
All right.
That's a fine idea, miss. Besides, we don't want bandits coming up behind us.
You guys head off into the woods. Okay, so this is now we pick up with the where we started off the show, with all of your troop heading actually into the borders of the forest. And at once, like, you realize how difficult it's going to be just not getting lost if you travel very deep into these woods.
Of course.
You lose sight of the sun. There's no real landmarks, and the fog is freaking everywhere. But Maehna, why don't you give me a simple survival check to find the hill fort that you saw from the road?
All right, real quick, if you look straight up, can you see sky?
Straight up, once you get into the woods, no.
Fair enough. So survival 4.
Yep.
I have a bonus to hunt, which doesn't apply, so I'm rolling.
There is a specialization for this called orientation, which is basically finding your way in the woods. You don't have it, so just roll 4 dice and give me a total.
All right. 6, 12, and 6 is 18.
Okay. You remembered where the ruins were, and you climb up some hills, and you're able to head right for them. It's very difficult to navigate in here, but because you knew approximately where you were already going, it was a little bit easier, and you were able to get there. And your company, which is, let me see how many of you are there. Let's see, there's all of you, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Corlin is 5, and your 2 minions would be 7. So the 7 of you
Ooh, lucky number.
Arrive on top of the hill. There's a low wall and some flagstones on the top of the hill, and there's no trees up here. There's no trees above you. You can see the sky. And it looks to you like this low wall and these flagstones are about all that's left of what might once have been a sizable castle. Let's everybody roll awareness.
8.
Okay.
18.
5.
Okay. Ben?
10.
Okay, Benjamin and Maehna, as you're approaching the ruins, you realize that there is a pack of wolves which appear to have made it their home. You are far enough away that you have not stumbled into their domain yet, but a couple of them notice you and growl menacingly in your direction.
How big of a pack does it look like?
About 6.
Mm.
The rest of them quickly get up from where they were resting, and they start snarling at you in an obvious attempt to intimidate you to get the hell away.
Seems like this tower's claimed.
I think a retreat's in order here.
All right. Everybody down with that? Maehna, Benjamin, good with the retreat?
Fine.
All right. You guys back away. The wolves let you back away.
I don't think anybody's
Return to the road, or
That's return to the road.
If you would like, you can spend some time searching this hex. You're basically already in the hex. If you want to spend a few hours, you could search around looking for something, or you could head right back to the road and just keep going north.
Oh, I'd like to kind of
I think given that's our sorry, go ahead.
Checking for tracks and stuff might not be bad to see if anybody actually comes this way. I don't think we're in a too big of a hurry.
How about Will? You're the local lord here, so whatever you say, they'll probably do.
So will we be able to get to our destination in a day's walk, or are we going to be camping regardless?
No, you can, if you, presuming that you guys head out fairly early in the morning, it's only about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 or 5 hours to where you think the road entrance to the forest is. So you should be able to find it by noon. If you spend a few hours searching this hex, you'll still get there by maybe 4 o'clock, 3, 4 o'clock.
Yeah, so we have a few hours to spend. Seeing as this is so close to our lands, it might be worth knowing a bit more about it and doing a little cartography. So I don't see an issue with maybe doing a little searching.
All right. Maehna, you okay with that?
My lord's wishes are my command.
My goodness. Okay.
I mean, if you think that they're camping this close to us and kind of not spending time to check that out, so.
You guys find a trail leading away from this castle towards what you think are the ruins. You can see that?
Yep.
You find a trail.
Does it look like it's been used? I mean,
That
ready?
Maehna, yeah, it looks to you like this trail is fairly frequently used. It's probably a bandit path.
Does it look like definite footprints only, or are there any kind of carts to indicate commerce?
There are no signs of any kinds of wagons or vehicles of any kind. It looks
other than horses.
Yeah, there are probably some animal prints, sure.
Forest.
Oh, also, as you search the hex, there are little like homesteads in basically every hex of the forest. These are typically like log cabins, lumber cabins. Maybe single individuals living alone or very small family groups, sometimes with a little animal pen for chickens or something, or pigs. These homesteads, these people are not interested in strangers. When they see a group of 7 people tromping through the woods, they hide in their house. You see several of those homesteads as you search the hex. It's kind of the way that people live here. But I guess the point is that the forest is surprisingly highly populated. There's actually a lot of people that live here, which might be a surprise to you.
A lot of pale people.
Yes. Yes. So anyway,
it's possible they may not think their lands to be given away. Well, shall we continue searching, my lord, or shall we continue along the road?
I mean, I like that we discovered this path. I'm hesitant to get into a fight that could potentially cripple us before we reach our destination. It's good to know that this is here. But maybe we should head back to the road and see what we find up north.
All right.
The road or continue on the path?
I say follow the road.
My vote's for the road.
All right. You get back to the road. It's about lunchtime. You briefly break your travel and have a camp food. And you're still close to home. It's still the same day, so you have some meat and cheese and like good stuff that's still like fresh bread that's still good from that morning. And then you make your way north. You travel along the road for a couple of hours, and you see where you hit from hex 1105? You find, as you're traveling along the road, you can see that there is a it's thwarting me. There is a wall, like an old ruined wall, that goes along the forest's edge, along the edge of the road. It's about 8 feet high, stone, and it follows the road for about 50 yards, right where it bends and starts to turn north by northwest. It's in various states of collapse. A few yards are still tall, but other sections of it have completely fallen down. A lot of the stone that has fallen off the wall is missing, presumably taken to be used in other fortifications or buildings somewhere else in the forest. Everybody give me an awareness check.
9.
15.
Benjamin, what was that?
9.
Okay, good. Maehna?
16.
Okay. All of you realize as you're walking along the wall or there's an open space, you all hear the shuffling of a large animal in there, and you realize there's a bear on the other side of the wall, and he starts, and you can hear him like moving around. Maehna, from where you are, you can kind of peek around the edge of the wall. You got the highest awareness total. And you can see kind of this bear's just sort of made a den for himself along the ruin. There's a collection of odd junk that the bear has collected.
Picnic baskets.
What's that?
Nothing.
Yeah, picnic baskets, exactly. He doesn't appear to have seen you guys yet. Or sniffed you.
Maehna's going to hold the finger to her lips and, you know, everyone let's be very, very quiet. Minimize our noise. And ideally sneak around the bear. Don't want to have to disturb it or kill it if we don't have to.
Sure. This is where I would normally ask for stealth checks, which about half of the group might be able to make, and the other half of the group will definitely not. But let's instead let's roll dice for the bear, and let's see if he gets the passive stealth of your guards and Benjamin. We have some people here with stealth of 2, right?
Yep.
So that would be a passive stealth of 8, and if the bear can get an 8, then he can tell where you are. I need my dice.
Oh, God. Could make a good rug, though.
Remember, you'll have to run faster than the slowest person.
Breaks or wood.
Let's see. Bear. Bear's got awareness. Only 3. I need more dice.
That's not good.
I know. See. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. So, you guys are creeping around, doing your best, and Will, you recall Jarek Fatcastle's admonition that if you got mail armor, that just means they would hear you coming, and you hear like the chink, chink, chink of Benjamin's armor as the bear like snuffles up and kind of looks at you and rears up onto its rear legs and roars. Why don't let's what was your if you guys can remember what that awareness total that you rolled, we'll use that for initiative.
All right.
Who got a high number? Maehna, what was yours?
I can't count. It was 15.
Okay. What else did everyone else get? Will?
Mine was 15 as well.
15. Benjamin?
9.
And Longarm. Steffan?
9.
Okay. So Will and Maehna, you guys go first. Let's start with Maehna. What would you like to do?
I'm going to have to shoot it.
Okay. So you raise your crossbow for a lesser action, and you let fly. Go ahead and roll your crossbow attack.
All right. 3 dice plus 1 bonus is 4 dice.
Yeah, roll 4 dice. Keep the highest 3.
Okay. That's going to be a 10.
You hit it. So what's your damage?
5. Long range, piercing 2.
Okay, piercing 2 is important. That negates 2 of its armor. So it takes all 5 of your points of damage. That lowers its health. It takes 5. It takes you raise your heavy crossbow, you let fly, and the crossbow bolt sinks into its chest. It roars out in pain.
And now it's pissed.
Will, your action.
I'm gonna just ready my shield and longsword.
Yep. Okay, so that's 2 actions. That's 2 lesser actions.
Okay. And prepare for this bear to charge. I'm definitely not going to be the first one into this fight.
All right. It is indeed the bear's turn. Let's decide who is closest to the bear. Obviously, it wants to attack Maehna, but she might not be the nearest person. Benjamin, you want to take it?
Sure, why not? I'm the one that caught its attention.
Earn some glory.
There you go. All right, bear's going to charge Benjamin.
Hope he likes to have a mouthful of metal.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that's why I figured I'd pick on you, because you're the person best suited to take it. All right, so bear's rolling claws. 4 dice. What's your combat defense in armor with shield?
Oh.
Actually, probably just with armor, because I don't think you have your shield up.
Yeah, it would be 5.
Okay, well, he hits you. The good news is, you only take 8. It's piercing 1, so reduce your armor by 1.
Okay.
So that lowers it to what?
A 4.
All right, so then actually it should be 5. If you look
the armor rating? Yeah, okay, that's 5.
Yeah, 6. So that becomes 5, so he does 3 through that. You take 3 health.
Okay.
Okay. Benjamin, your turn, and also Steffan. Steffan, let's have we'll let Benjamin go first, since he just got attacked.
Well, as long as I got a bear in my face, I'm gonna hit him with my longsword.
Yes, you can.
It's unbearable.
But
That was a grizzly pun.
Nice.
Don't get him started, please.
Oh, he and Don. Yeah.
I've just barely gotten started.
My mouth shut. Like a good GM.
Oh, let's see. So 19.
Wow. Okay. You hit him with basically 3 times, so triple your damage.
So that'd be 12.
Take off his head. Take off his head.
Your damage is actually 5 because of your weapon mastery.
Oh, I thought it was 4 with my map.
I got it corrected. I was wrong. And I picked your character sheet on the website. Yeah, I got it on the website, so it's right there.
Okay, so it's
15. 15 minus its 2 armor is 13. How would you like to kill it?
Right through its left eye into its brain.
Oh my goodness. All right. You stab as it charges you, and you pierce its eye with your sword. The tip of your sword comes out the back of its skull. It roars in pain for a few seconds before it realizes that it's dead, and then collapses in a heap.
Oh, I didn't get a chance to shoot it.
Well, my lord, you got your rug.
I believe Sir Benjamin needs a raise. that was impressive.
My lord, I will take it. Oh, definitely bring it up to your father when we get back.
All right.
A character, were you joking about the rug, or are we now hauling this dead thing?
It would take too long. I would love a rug, believe me, but
Well, just hide it back behind the wall. Maybe nobody will take it by the time we start heading back.
All right, so Benjamin,
We'll drag it home with us.
Benjamin was surprisingly strong for a little guy. Drags the bear's carcass back behind the wall. As you are doing that, you notice that in this group of this like random collection of odds and ends that the bear has assembled for its den, there's a shield. It's old, it's kind of battered, but you recognize the symbols on it of House Targaryen. It's 3 red dragons on a black field.
So, Jason, does my armor go back up again now that it's over, or am I still going to stay with -1?
No, that was just that was right. Okay, no, that was basically it's like the crossbow bolt. It just negates 1 point of your armor for that hit.
Okay.
There is a weapon trait called Shattering, which permanently damages your armor or shield. This was not shattering; it was only piercing.
Awesome.
If no one else is going to pick up the shield, Maehna will just run her back.
It's a large shield. It looks perfectly usable, although it's fairly old. And as you pick it up and you're sort of turning it around to inspect the back, you turn it around, and on the inside of the shield, there's actually a message written on the inside of the shield.
Maehna will read it aloud if it's in a language she can read.
It is. I will type it in the chat window. It's pretty simple, but I'll write it down anyway so that everyone can see it.
Overthink it.
It reads, first 1, then 2, up for 3, down for 4.
sounds like a night of drinking to me.
It would.
Curious.
Indeed. All right. I'll let you puzzle over that while you continue on your way.
Well, there's a lot of Targaryen ruins. I'm going to assume it applies to one of them.
You continue on your way north and north by northwest, and you are right about. Let me put a little marker down. You are right about at the entrance to Hex 1005 when you see what can only be the entrance to the old road. You see, it seems like it's probably about 4 or 5 in the afternoon by now. By the way, after the battle is over, Benjamin, you recover your lost health.
Okay.
Health is like the lowest level of injury in this game. In fact, it's arguably not even actually injury at all. It's just like tension or stress or, kind of getting bashed around a little bit. You didn't take any serious injury. You just got kind of beaten up.
Probably more stamina than health, really.
Yeah, and so you can always burn health, and you gain it all back at the end of the encounter. If you had taken an injury or a wound, it would be more serious, but you did not. Anyway,
well,
so
my lord,
what's that?
I was gonna ask Will if we wanted to approach in the night or wait for daybreak.
So let me tell you what you see. So as you are approaching, you're just sort of exploring along the road, looking for any sign of a road that goes into the forest. And what you see are 2 stone columns standing at the edge of the forest. And there's an arch that used to cross between the 2 columns. used to cross between the two columns, but all of the stones of the arch have collapsed to the ground, and so now they're like half buried in the earth between the two columns. The stone columns are very impressive, though. They stand about 8 feet high. They're big and square, and projecting from each column is a dragon with a very ferocious head and wings, one of which is broken off in the years. And their mouths are open, and they're facing the King's Road as you approach.
Cool.
And then between the two columns, the ruined archway, you can see the barely visible remains of a road.
Bear.
Another bear, yes. Covered in branches and dirt and mud and just decades of time obscuring the road, winding into the dense forest and the hills beyond. It's very dark in there.
So, while it's an hour a hex on the King's Road,
yes.
How long would it take us to slog through one of those hexes?
Well, Maehna, your estimate is probably about 3 hours per hex. To travel through it, it might be a little bit easier on the road. You might be able to make 2 hexes in an hour on the road. If you wanted to search the hex, like you did back when you near the ferry, that would probably still take about 4 hours to do. But if you want to just travel across it as fast as you can, 2 hours for the road, 3 hours for overland. That's about 1 mile an hour.
Sure.
Oh, it's going to be dark in there. No, how dark was it in the forest when we went in earlier?
Well, then you were up on the top of a hill, and there weren't a lot of trees around the castle. So that area around that hill fort was fairly bright still, because you could see the sun. But as you explored and when you followed the trail a little ways down away from the ruins, it got pretty foggy and hard to see. It's going to be really difficult just to find your way inside the forest. You can see why outlaws hide there, because it's basically.
So I'm not wondering whether or not it's worthwhile to wait until light to go in if it's going to be dark in there anyways.
Yep, it's right now. We'll say it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
I mean,
we have torches.
Yeah, you have lamps. You have torches. Yeah.
Then let's path that's been less traveled.
Do you want to head? Are you following the road?
The forest road, yeah, the one that goes between the columns.
Okay. Otis, I love you, but I'm in the middle of a game.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi, puppy.
As you pass between the columns, Steffan, you were like interested in the columns. They looked pretty cool to you.
They do.
And as you pass between them, you realize there's some kind of there's like a metal lever sticking out of the back of one of the columns near the base.
Oh, what's this then?
Apparently, we're going to find out.
Are you tugging on the lever? I don't know what that means. You have to tell me.
I'm tugging on the lever.
It's stuck.
So I need some help with the lever. It's stuck.
Oh, God. Oh, the young.
Send Corlin over to help him.
All right. You realize you tug on the lever. Actually, why don't you roll athletics for me?
Roll what?
Athletics.
Athletics. All right. 7.
Okay. Corlin's got athletics of 4. The two of you tug on the lever, and you eventually get it to move. As you move, there's like a long sort of squeaking noise from inside the column. And what you realize is there's some kind of mechanism in there. Like you pull the lever up, and then you can push it down a little bit easier, and you can move the lever up and down, but you don't really see anything happening.
Is it
Meanwhile-
in the middle when they first found it?
No, it was pushed down. Tanner?
One on the other
Maehna's going
column?
to suggest pushing it all the way up.
Yeah, you guys pull it up, and then you can push it down, and you pull it up and push it down. You check out the other column, and you realize that there was a lever there as well, but it has somehow come unconnected, and you find it buried in the dirt.
This is the problem with ruins. Everything's ruined.
Maehna's going to try putting it back together. Completely rusted off.
Why don't you give me you have cunning? Cunning or knowledge? I'll let
Ability,
you guys roll.
awareness, survival.
Nope. Anybody have cunning or knowledge?
I have 3s in both.
Maybe someone stick their sword in there.
Tanner's the,
I'm not sticking my sword in there. It kills bears.
Will is the smart guy.
Bearslayer.
Let's see what he can do.
Got a 17.
Okay. So you've read about stuff like this. Like the Targaryens used to have all kinds of engineering wonders, back before they all went crazy and started having sex with each other. And you get the lever, and you kind of twist it back on the bolt that it's supposed to go attached to, and you realize that the other guys didn't look, and they couldn't really figure it out, but you realize that there's a little like a nozzle, like a hole in the base of the column for oil, for lamp oil. And this is a lamp. And if you filled it with oil, you could pump the oil up to the dragon head, and it would if you could light it, it would function as a lamp. Like the dragons breathe fire, basically.
Okay, I'll have to agree. Cool.
Cool.
But it's out of fuel.
Well, we probably brought
Maehna's
some,
going to
right?
remind them about the message and just wonder if down for 3 and 4 could refer to the levers.
Yeah, you have some lamp oil, Will.
Oh.
I mean, we got to light this baby up, right, guys? I mean, come on. This is like
Well, I
heavy
don't know
metal.
if waste our lamp oil.
Whatever our Lord commands.
Yes, light it up. Yes, sir.
This is what adventures are made
Yeah,
for.
but somebody mentioned something about the shield.
Yeah,
I
that
was
was Maehna.
thinking something about bandits and having this gigantic flame coming
Yeah,
out.
let's call as much attention to ourselves as we possibly can, right?
So will you pour your lamp oil, a container of lamp oil into you pour half of it into one column and half of it into the other,
Hell yeah.
and then you have to pump the oil up to make it reach the lamp, and then someone has to put their torch near the dragon's mouth to light it.
Oh man, Benjamin, Steffan.
I'll hurry up there and do it.
Can
Okay.
you light an arrow and shoot an arrow into it?
Steffan's like, I got this, and he climbs up there, and he's a little short guy. Steffan's not very tall. His longbow's taller than him. and he reaches up his torch and give me an agility check right quick, Steffan.
Get ready to catch him.
No one told me there was a risk.
You got agility. You must.
Yes, I do. 13.
Yes. Okay. You light it and duck as the oil lights up, and the first gout it takes a second. It overcompensated for time, but as a second later, basically there's it's like a fire torch coming out of the dragon's mouths, and it's a oil flame from both of the two columns, lighting up the archway and its ruins and the road that leads into the forest. It's probably visible for miles up and down the King's Road.
Hello. We're here.
Yes. I wish we had a bear haunch to roast on this sucker. Oh, if my father were here, this would be going very differently. I like the idea of us doing this as the sun's like going down and wolves are howling and bandits' eyes are all around us and circling.
Well, it looks really impressive, and everybody sort of stands around and stares at it for a few minutes, and then you're like, okay, now what?
Listen, that was a once in a lifetime experience. I mean, there's probably no other ruin like this in Westeros, and we just saw it. So
You'll get from telling this story.
yeah, I mean, we just awoke this legendary set of ruins. This is what adventuring's about, people.
So the levers only serve to pump the oil up and down?
Yes, they're designed to get the oil into the dragon, yes.
Now that we've given away our position, let's depart this position.
Alerted everyone in the nearby vicinity that we're around.
Watch out, Benjamin Bearslayer's coming.
Nice. All right, well, you see the road. The road leads into the forest.
I'm totally calling you that from now on.
It's about 5 o'clock when you guys get done fussing with the lamps. You maybe eat a little bit. Forest. Are you just trying to cross the hex as fast as possible?
Yeah, I think we got to move after that little delay.
Okay. You follow the old road. So it's a road only in the loosest of all senses, okay? It's it used to be a road decades ago. But now it's mostly just worn out ruts for wagon wheels. And it's overgrown, and a lot of trees have fallen across the road. And as you travel, you suspect that there are more farms or not farms, but more cabins and homes in there, but you don't spend a lot of time looking for them or anything. The road winds back and forth through the valleys, the vales in between the tall hills. You don't go up. You go basically, you wind around between the hills. Let me get back to your map. So you can follow the road, and it's probably about 8. It's getting kind of late. It's like probably 8 o'clock at night when you cross the hex. When are you planning on camping?
Never.
No sleep till Rugar.
Lordship.
No sleep till Rugar.
I think maybe we're trying to use the night to our advantage here, hoping.
All right, well, you guys can go 12 hours without me making you have to make rolls. Right now, you're about, see where the red star is?
Yeah.
Can you guys see the red star?
Yeah.
Here. That's where you are. At 8 o'clock at night. If you guys want to go further, you're going to have to start making endurance rolls. You've been marching all day. You've been working all day.
Is this a situation where we have to sleep a full 8 hours, or could we like nap for a few hours and continue on?
Well, it's 8 o'clock at night. The forest is getting harder to. It's impenetrably dark now. I mean, you
got no choice but to set up camp, and Maehna will take the first shift.
To travel further into the forest today, you're going to have to start making endurance rolls.
What say you, my lord?
Down. If we come across anything, we need to be west rested. So I think we should stop and put in some, shifts
Yeah, we're gonna have to camp.
Okay, you guys camp approximately where your gold star is, and you camp for the night. The forest is filled with wild animals, fog, strange sounds, and outlaws. It's a difficult night. What's your setup here? How do you want to do this?
Well, Maynard says she's going to take first watch. Then, I can take second.
Remember that you have Corlin. There's 7 of you. You have Corlin and then John and Jim as well.
Well, let's put John and Jim on watch for second and third watch.
Okay, so just like one person on watch?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's Maehna, John, and then Jim, and everybody else sleeps the night. All right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay. The good news is that your guards actually have awareness. That's one of their 3 skills. So
Yep.
they're actually not bad as far as
Yeah,
guards
that's
go.
why I kind of figured they'd be okay.
Yay.
And they have endurance, so they can even stay awake. They're good guards. Okay. The forest is not quite so dark, and you hear birds chirping, and you figure out that it probably must be day. You've gotten, you were not disturbed. I presume that you were sort of camped like within sight of the road, but not directly on the road, but close by it, so you could find it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is the plan to have a breakfast and then head for the castle?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Breakfast.
Breakfast first, castle later.
Let's stay civilized, even though we're in this wild, dark, horrific place
Yes, excellent.
where people seemingly live peaceful lives in like a pseudo-communist society that we're trying to destabilize with our imperialistic. Wait, what am I saying? Let's just eat breakfast, everyone.
You're starting to sound like a grad student again, Tanner.
Seems like not a bad life in here.
It's actually, Will, you can almost kind of see the appeal to it, like no one to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fat Castle lived in here for years.
I know, and he seems to kind of look back fondly on it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
there's no comfy beds here.
Well, that's true.
We haven't gotten to the hold yet. It may be.
And what about those bear rugs? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
All right. After a cold breakfast, you resume your travel along the road. And the road begins to climb a hill. See up there, the ruins of the castle. It does not look to be inhabited, at least not by a large number of people. At least it's not a large bandit camp. If it was, you would be able to tell from here. The castle is on the top of a hill. How would you like to approach it?
Sneakily.
Okay.
Maehna can offer to scout a way in or see if it is inhabited. Deeper in.
Who here? Maehna, what's your stealth? 3?
3.
She's got 3
But,
plus I think, sneak. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did anybody? You could just take the people with stealth a little closer.
Corlin, right? It should.
Corlin's got. Yeah, Corlin probably has stealth. Let me check.
I have tons of stealth.
Corlin also has stealth of 3, so you can take Corlin. Anybody else
Okay.
has stealth?
I have stealth of 3.
Okay, so the three scouty people can leave the soldiers and sneak a little closer. Does that
Good.
sound good? Okay. All right, so Steffan, Corlin, and Maehna. Maehna, you have your falcon with you, by the way. We haven't used it for anything, but it is around. You can use it to hunt for food or...
I was going to say breakfast.
or not. Anyway, okay, so let me just sort of outline what the castle kind of looks like. The castle had wooden walls, some of which have partially collapsed. There's, as you creep up, you don't think there's any human being living up here as the three of you get closer to the castle, at least not in any kind of numbers. You enter the open gatehouse, and you can see the castle itself. The walls, as I said, are wood and partly collapsed. Inside, there's a stone keep, and it's fairly big. But the courtyard is pretty small. That is, the walls are fairly close around the keep itself. There's a couple of buildings inside the courtyard. Old, run down now, battered by the weather. Looks like one is obviously a stable. Another one is some kind of bunkhouse. The doors are open. There's branches and dirt everywhere. The keep is several floors high. It looks pretty strong. I mean, it's been damaged by the weather and time. But the keep is much stronger than the wooden walls around the keep would suggest. There's old wooden stairs that go up one floor from the outside of the keep to a stone doorway on what we would call the first floor, not the ground floor, but the first floor of the keep. And that looks like how it's entered, is by this old staircase. This doorway is empty. If there was a door there, it's been torn down or burnt down or collapsed. And you can just see inside the entranceway. It's just dark. There's arrow slits and the battlements of the keep on the top. You don't see a roof. If it doesn't have a peaked roof. If it had a peaked roof, you could see it. The roof is either flat or gone. Maehna, there's a lot of signs of animals in this area.
I don't have great human footprints, but let's try to search for those.
Sure, you search around. You don't think there's been anybody up here for a long time. I mean, maybe, but not in numbers and not recently or frequently.
Send one of the grogs back to the soldiers and...
No, the grogs aren't with you because they are the soldiers.
Well, there's me, Garrett, and then we had a third.
Corlin.
Corlin. We'll send Corlin back.
All right. Corlin runs back.
To get the rest of the party.
Yep. Tells Will and Benjamin and the grogs. Coast is clear.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Okay. You gather together in the courtyard for the scene I described. It's probably about, let me see, how long did it take you to get there? It's probably about 8 or 9 in the morning. So, chilly. The fog doesn't seem to come inside the castle. It does lurk around the valleys, the vales of the forest, but the castle's on a hill, and the fog seems to be pretty low lying. You can see some sun up there around the keep. The trees have grown all the way up to the wooden walls. Like the castle's basically surrounded by trees.
Okay, cool.
Can I send the falcon up to keep an eye out from above and alert for movement?
Ordinarily, you would have to roll to do that, but he's your animal cohort, so you do not.
Keep an eye out.
He flies up and you see him perch on the top of the keep, and he will let out a cry if he sees anything dangerous.
Well, let's look for a place to hang our banners. Let's set up shop. I think so. There was that door that goes into. There's an area to explore.
There's a doorway. Yeah.
I say let's open that up.
Will you climb up the steps? As you climb up the stairs, as you climb up to the stairs, you realize the stairs are really precarious. But they hold for you, and you can see the inside of the keep through the door. And you begin to, everybody kind of files in, and you begin to explore the keep. You guys sort of scatter out, and it doesn't seem to be any threats or anything. There's kitchen, armory, smithy. A lot of there's some large barrack rooms, looks like for soldiers.
Barrack.
A barrack. Maehna, you explore downstairs. There's a stairway leading down to the basement, stone steps that lead down to the basement. You can tell that there are some wild animals living in some of these lower, darker areas of the keep. We're talking about like raccoons and snakes and rats and that kind of thing, not like wolves or bears.
Or wolf bears.
Yeah.
Bears.
Will you climb there's a set of stone stairs that go around the outside wall, the inside wall of the keep, like a spiral staircase that goes around the inside wall. And you climb those stairs up a few floors to where the rooms for the Lord and the Lady and other members of the royal family would be. Everything's ransacked and empty. Like the rooms have all been plundered. There's no signs of recent habitation or anything left. You do notice something kind of odd, though. Let's see. Let's say this is Steffan. You're wandering around the keep, and you're on the 3rd floor. And you notice that there's a bunch of doorways. There's always, doors leading to chambers. All of the archways that lead to the various doors have numbers on them, like written above the doorway on the arch.
Like added to it or part of it?
So the archway, right? And then like at the center of each arch is a keystone. Mm-hmm. And in that keystone, there's a number, like just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Right.
Were they carved in there?
They look like they're part of the stone.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
This one has something to do with the shield.
Maybe.
The top floor, the stairs. The roof is partially collapsed, and the stairs to the topmost floor have collapsed. As you take a cautious step up one of them, and it sort of crumbles underneath your feet. So you can't go up any higher. Will, in your estimation, this keep is going to take a lot of work to repair. I mean, it could be done, but it's not going to be cheap and it's not going to be fast.
Yeah.
No cushy beds here.
Lots of room for bear rugs, though.
So the numbers, they go up pretty high. It's not just up to 4 like we saw on the shield.
They go up to 8. there's 8 doors, 8 archways on the 3rd floor, and they all have a number.
Hmm.
Were those only on the 3rd floor that was found? We didn't find any.
That is correct. There are many other archways in the castle, in the keep, but none of the others are numbered in the way that these are.
I thought maybe
Can we tell if this 3rd floor served any specific function?
There's a bunch of different rooms on there. Some of them look like they might have been like guest rooms. One of them's a garderobe, a toilet. All kinds of different. Doesn't seem to be any sort of consistency.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go in door number 1.
Door number 1 looks like a bedchamber. It's empty. If there was any furniture in here, it's either been looted or broken apart. There's a arrow slit that allows you to see outside. So there's a very narrow slice of light coming in from it. It's empty. It's kind of
Anything
shaped like this.
anything of note when we look outside the window?
You look outside the window. Get a pretty good view.
Your audio cut out for that whole thing for me.
I just said you got a pretty good view.
Okay.
You see the wall and then trees.
Nothing.
Okay. I'll check out the next room.
Room number 2. Is that?
Yes.
It's looks like a study or some kind of. It's got a big fireplace in it. There's a chimney that runs along one side of the keep, and this room is attached to that chimney, so it's got a big hearth.
Cool.
It's cold.
I mean,
Well,
is it empty?
It is empty.
Okay.
seems like we should move on. I could spend all day trying to make this message somehow apply to these rooms, but I don't know if that's the best.
Are we doing that?
I was listen, those of us with knowledge 3 are thinking on this whole metagame level. Steffan,
I'm just
one
going
day you may get here.
I'm just going from room to room and looking at them.
Should we head back out to the courtyard and look at some of the other buildings that were in the campus?
Yeah, from where you are, you can see there's just 2 other buildings in the courtyard. There's the stables and the old barracks. And you can briefly
A barracks.
Yes, a barracks. And you investigate those rooms, those buildings, and they're run down. They may need to be just completely torn down and rebuilt. They're in pretty poor shape. And there's small animals nesting in them and stuff like that.
I'm just going to look everywhere. See what I find.
He just runs around.
Yeah.
Turning over rocks.
How long does it take to look at an empty room?
I'm just going to keep running until he hits a trap. And then R.I.P. Steffan.
Lifting bugs.
A trap? Run down castle.
So if you we can thoroughly search the place in a few hours. You can search the whole hex if you'd like to do that.
Let's do that.
Yeah, I think we should. I mean, it's clear this place isn't being used, but it's good to have good intel on it because it's going to come into negotiation for sure.
Maybe we'll find more dragon lamps.
Let me draw. Yeah. Let me draw on your map here. All right, so the road continues south from the castle. Oops. And you also see there's some water, a stream that goes around the castle. Probably leads back towards the river. It's not exactly where I wanted to draw it, but it's good enough. You don't find anything else of note, really, at the castle. At least not. The rooms are all empty. There's no real furniture left or anything like that.
You know, this is kind of something I've been thinking about with this game, that this isn't really about finding treasure and solving puzzles so much, right? It's more about the plot, and
it's not normally about that, no. But I wanted to do a little bit of exploration just because you almost never get a chance to do that.
I thought we were trying to find Dugan.
Yeah.
Right.
But like maybe in a different game, you'd be thinking about like, oh, I wonder if there's anything to plunder in here, or should we look for some sort of secret thing?
I mean, you already know. I mean, you have clues that there's something. I mean, you have a cryptic poem on the back of a shield, right? So, numbers, and so I know, I hear what you're sort of thinking metagamey, and I get that, but I'm doing a little bit of exploration just because you almost never get to do that. And that's kind of what this is. We'll be back to intrigue and mass combat, soon enough. But
yeah, just in terms of character motivation, we're really looking to find Dugan. So like, if we can't figure out the shield message, it's like, well, we got to move, right?
Yeah. Well, that's totally on you. Like, whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah.
I'm just here to give you a cool area.
Not finding Dugan is a very key piece of information as well, because either is a dude in a shack who's built up a reputation that's bigger than his little self, or someone's running around just throwing Dugan's name around, and this bandit problem is a lot smaller and more isolated than we thought, and we can probably get more land out of it.
A fictitious bandit leader? That's genius.
I'm just wondering, could the bandits be living in the houses and stuff that we've been coming across?
You'd make an excellent Dread Pirate Roberts. All right. Well, so it's about noon, and you've explored the castle and that hex.
So nothing interesting in the castle for Steffan.
Correct.
No broken piece of pottery or anything that he can take and brag about to all of his friends.
I just want some watery tart to throw a sword at me.
No.
So there's a road that heads south-ish?
Yes, there is a road that heads south into Hex 906.
Follow that.
Let's finish charting the forest.
Okay. You head farther into the woods. You eat a little bit before you hit the road again, and then you begin moving south. And you're going about 2 hours per hex when you stick to the road. As you travel, there's another path that intersects with the road. And it leads to the west.
And then the road keeps going south.
Yeah.
Well, the informant was very insistent about there being other paths.
Yeah, I'm starting to get curious about kind of going away from the expected route. I think if we're going to run into anything, it's going to be away from where we might think they're at. So I think maybe we should follow this path to the west just to see if we run into anything interesting.
Well, there's not very many of them, and bandits are notoriously lazy. They'd probably be near a road where people travel, because being a bandit in the forest, waiting for someone to come by that you can rob, doesn't seem like a good business strategy.
Work for Robin Hood.
Well, they were saying that
No,
they
he was
were,
near a road and he robbed people on the road. Like a traveled road.
but weren't most of the people getting robbed on the King's Road?
Well, most recently, yes. Now, what happens is the bandits of Durain's forest, most of the people that live here, of course, are not bandits. Like you've seen, well, you haven't seen that many because you've been sticking to the road. But in your brief time exploring in the south, when you were back in Hex 1108, you got the impression that there's a lot of little cabins and people that live here. And whether or not they were outlaws, and that's why they came here, they don't seem like bandits in terms of how they're currently making a living. They seem like woodsmen, like raising their own food and living off the forest. But as far as the crimes of Durain's forest, yes, there have been people recently held up along the King's Road. Bandits would strike out from the forest, and they might rob from people in Tannerton or Welland to the north. I mean, as recently as last month, it was the bandits of Durain's forest that attacked old Ned and his family at the ferry and made off with the family strongbox.
That's right.
There's also the road that leads west from the King's Road through Riverthorn. Anybody who's taking the river, and the river here is navigable for boats. So a lot of people travel up and down the Trident or the various forks by boat. That's another good potential target for the bandits if they can find a way to stop your boat. Or if you just park along the river, to camp for the night, for example. So, I mean, Garrett's point, Steffan's point, is certainly valid. There's no one to steal from inside the forest,
Right.
except other outlaws.
So going further away from the King's Road might not be what we're looking for.
That's up to you. But I think you can see the map, right? So you can see the trail. It's about 10 in the morning when you find the path that leads west from the road. You could take the road east or the path west.
Well, let's just make a decision. I don't think it matters. We have no other information. Just go west, I guess.
Let's let the Lord decide. That's a good decision for Will.
Yeah, I was thinking about going west, heading towards the river.
All right, so you guys take the path. It's tough going. It's a path, so it's easy to not get lost on it, but it's not as fast as the road. And the road was not fast. So it was about 10 when you found the path, and it's probably afternoon as you reach Hex 806, where the path, suddenly swerves south. And there is a stream. Why is it making that? this my stream is not cooperating.
We can't see your map either.
Oh, you can't? Oh, I'm not. I'm sorry. I forgot that I was not screen sharing. My bad. Thank you for correcting me.
My
All
pleasure.
right. Can you see the map now?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
You guys followed this path from 906 west to 806, and then the path suddenly bears south, and you realize that there is
Ding.
a stream. Yes. Good. Thank you. It's kind of like Slug-a-Bug game, right? And like it's a Volkswagen, so except now it's all about bears.
Ding.
The path bears south, so you can either keep following that path south, or you can finish exploring Hex 806. But if you follow the path south, you cross a stream, and you see, as you follow the path, it's probably more like around, probably about 1 o'clock. It's afternoon. When you stumble across another ruin. It's a tower. The tower overlooks the Trident. It's 2 stories. And you can see that there's a stone dock along the river. Like you guys, basically, you emerge from the forest. You're on the edge of the forest where the tower is, and you can see the Trident, a big, one of the great river of Westeros. And the forest goes along the river north and south. And as you break out of the forest, you see the sun for the first time all day. There's a stone dock along the river and a 2-story tower.
Ah,
Well, this looks like a good place for them to keep an eye out for travelers along the river.
I agree, sir.
Looks like anything been here for a while, or has it also been abandoned pretty much?
You guys start searching the tower and its area. Benjamin, why don't you roll? Give me an awareness check.
11.
Okay.
8.
Everybody spreads out and starts checking around the tower and the docks area. Benjamin, you just walk down by the docks and you're getting some breath of fresh air, and it feels good to be out of the woods for a change. And you're looking around, poking around in case to see maybe someone's hiding or looking for tracks or anything. And that's when a lizard lion, which is what we call alligators and crocodiles in Westeros.
Murder logs.
Murder logs.
Wyvern.
Wyvern.
The lizard lion, which was floating in the river looking like a piece of wood, creeps up behind you and tries to attack you.
Why does everybody want to eat me?
Because you failed to beat its stealth. That's why.
You're the tastiest.
Indeed, you are.
And Will needs another rug.
He's going to roll his attack on you. You are. He gets a bonus die because you are surprised.
Surprise.
Nobody expects the lizard lion.
A lizard lion. What's your defense without your shield?
No, I'm probably not having my shield, so
Yeah. What's your defense without it?
5.
5. He hit you twice.
Ow.
12 damage.
Ow.
I mean,
So
you got
your armor is 6, so you would take 6.
Ow.
So everyone hears this sort of thrashing noise, and you hear Benjamin shout out. And as you look up, you see that there's a lizard lion, and this is a big crocodile. Has got its teeth around your leg, and it's trying to flip you into the river where it can do the death spiral, right?
Right.
And there are a couple of other lizard lions in along the dock that are visible to everyone else. Now, most everyone else is some distance away. You're probably a sprint away if you want to run over there. If you want to use a ranged weapon, we're talking about 15 yards probably. Everybody, we'll just go in a circle because so let's start with Di. Maehna, what would you like to do?
Maehna's gonna run over closer.
Okay. All right, you run up there. That's your action. Steffan.
I shoot it.
Okay.
So what does marked mean?
Marked means that you have your scars. That's from when you caught the red plague.
Oh, okay. All right.
You have
Well,
these big ugly red marks all over your face that you got when you survived the red plague.
Right. It was up there with stealth and stuff.
Yep,
I didn't know it was
it's a
ability.
flaw. Yep, it's a flaw.
All right. So I have marksman of 4.
Yep, roll it.
So I will shoot it.
Yep.
18.
That's good. You hit it twice, so double your damage.
Oh.
And so damage is 3.
So double to 6.
Right. Well, it says hunting bow 4D damage 3.
Yes, damage 3.
All right. So 6 then.
All right. Lizard 1. You do 6. These things have, crocodiles. They've got like built-in armor. So he takes 3 health. Your arrow like sticks in its back. He doesn't seem to care much. He's busy trying to eat Benjamin. Will.
Gonna ready my weapons and sprint if that's possible in one action.
Absolutely, yes. You sprint and run over there. Benjamin.
I'm gonna put my sword through this guy's head.
Roll it.
This is not nice.
Indeed.
Oh no! Wow, that's pretty sad. 12.
You hit it, but you only hit it once. So what's your damage?
5.
Okay, so he takes 2 more. He's got natural armor 3. This thing is still going. Like it's not even at half health. Like your sword goes like clank off of its scaly back. You can't really get a good position because it's got you off balance. All right, their turn. The lizard lion that already has you is going to continue to attack you. He doesn't quite get his bonus dice this round. He just gets 3, so he rolls a 12, and your defense, you get your shield now, so what's your defense with shield? 7? Still hit you twice, so that's another 12 damage. Minus your armor of 6 would be 6. You can take 6, or you can take an injury or a wound.
I need to take an injury since.
Remember how these work? You can take an injury which negates a number of health points equal to your endurance score.
Okay.
So your endurance is 3.
3.
You would take an injury which could negate 3 points of damage, or you could take 2 injuries and negate all 6. I'm
probably going to need to take 2.
Okay, you take 2 injuries. Everyone sees the teeth of the lizard lion are crushing through Benjamin's mail, and you're seeing blood in the water as he struggles with it. You don't take any more health damage, but you have 2 injuries, so you're -2 on everything.
Right.
You can have a total of 3 injuries, so you've taken 2 out of your maximum of 3.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
There's 2 more lizard lions in the water. One of them runs up towards Maehna, and the other one runs up towards Will. They don't attack this turn. They just move.
What about our two guards?
Oh, yeah, 2 guards. You want them to attack?
Yes, please.
They run up. They ran up. Their action would be to follow Will and come to Ben's aid. So they run up with their spears for their action. They sprint it.
Awesome.
Okay, so now it's all of your turns. Maehna, you're up. You got a lizard lion within like melee range of you. Looks like it wants to eat you.
I'm take a gamble on this, and if Maehna has any of are they destiny points in this game?
They are called destiny points, yes. And
if she has any, this may be a moment.
You don't have any because you are a red shirt.
I thought Maehna the character had some. Weird.
No, originally she did, back when she was played by a PC. But when Jenny left the game, Maehna got demoted to red shirt.
She's being red-shirted. Well, damn.
Yeah. Her contract.
Well, all right, then this is her moment to sink or swim.
Okay. What would you like to do?
I would like to use animal handling. Not sure if train will apply, but trying to put a dominant wolf foot down and scare them off.
Okay.
Using their animal cunning to get the hell away from us.
Well, it's not training, but it is animal handling. So roll animal handling.
All right, so it's 5. So I roll 5 and keep all 5?
Keep all 5.
All right.
You are as good at this as you could be.
10, 14.
14. Good, but not as good as you could.
Not great.
Not great.
Yeah.
You intimidate the one that's about to eat you. Okay?
Well, there's that.
And we'll also give you the one that was going to eat Will. So you like distract them, like you pull out something like I don't know what might
rabbit.
Like, yeah, there you go. All right, so yes, like you had shot a rabbit earlier as you were running through the wood
or something, whatever.
Yeah, you pull out a dead rabbit and you like shake it, and they both look at it, and you throw it off in the water, and the 2 crocodiles that aren't already fighting Benjamin dive off after it. So success, but partial success. Okay.
Sorry about your dinner, my lord.
The good news is you probably just saved Will's life. Okay.
And he realizes it.
Okay. Steffan, your turn.
I'm going to shoot the one that's biting Benjamin the Bearslayer.
Roll it.
Can't save Benjamin, but save the Lord. So I guess that works.
20.
You hit 3 times, so triple your damage.
9.
Okay. He would take 6, but he's a lizard lion, and they can take injuries.
Oh.
So he's going to... I know. So he's going to take 1 injury and still take 2 health.
He grinned and bared it.
He did. He grins and bears it. But that means he's -1 on everything. He takes an injury. So your arrow like lodges in.
Bear with it.
Your arrow lodges in its neck. Benjamin.
Oh, I'm gonna try and hit this thing again.
Go for it.
Oh, that's a little bit better. 20 minus 2 is 18.
Okay, good. You hit it twice, so double your damage.
So that'd be 10.
Okay, he would take 7, so he takes his 2nd injury. And then he takes 3 more health, which puts him down 10. Still up. It's like you slice at it, and like there's a huge gash on the side of its neck, and it's bleeding into the water, but it thinks it still has a chance at getting you. Will, your turn.
I'm gonna swing my sword for the first time.
Go for it.
Oh God!
Look out!
Like the first time ever.
The big green thing.
First time ever in the history of Will, for real.
If he rolls 3 1s, he's gonna hit Benjamin.
It's a 11.
Okay, you hit it.
Yeah, Benjamin.
2
goes
ones.
underwater. That should result in 3 ones.
What's your damage?
3.
You like you tag it, but you tag
Well,
it.
use the
Everyone see that?
I did a thing.
Will,
I did it correct.
Benjamin and Will, why don't you guys roll for the guards? You're rolling 3 dice for their spears.
12.
14.
Okay, so you both hit once.
Do more damage than Will.
Their damage is 3.
Bounces.
So their spears are like you guys are, you're thrusting at it, but they're not hurting the crocodile.
Get into the mouth. Get into the mouth.
The crocodile's turn.
Kelly,
His last chance to eat Benjamin. 9. Does a 9 hit you?
Armor 6. So
What's your defense? Your combat defense?
7. So yeah, hits
So he
me.
hits you once. So he only does 6. So your armor is 6, right?
Yes.
Okay, so he doesn't do any damage through your armor. So it's chewing on it gets your you have a metal plate on the front of your shin, and it's got its mouth like propped open by that metal plate, and that's why you still have a leg. Steffan, Maehna, your turn.
Shoot it.
Oh, with your crossbow. You're ready. You lift up your crossbow and you fire at it. Roll.
I missed one of the vicious trait. Does that do anything?
That means that your damage is always lethal. That means you cannot knock out the crocodile with your crossbow.
Okay.
That's what that means.
That's gonna be 9, 14, and 19.
Great. You hit twice. Double your damage.
So that would be 10 piercing 2.
Okay, so it would take 9 because of your piercing, which is great, by the way. So it would take 9. It can't. You kill it. How would you like to kill it?
How big are my crossbow bolts?
It's a heavy crossbow. They don't come any bigger.
Well, as graphic as this is going to be, we're going to shoot it right through the jaw. It's going to take off its upper jaw, and it's going to just flop over into the water and free Benjamin.
There you go. That's exactly what happens.
It's just going to sink to the bottom.
Okay, that's what happens. Benjamin is limping. You got a bloody leg.
Maehna has healing.
What happened was the crocodile, as it was chewing on your leg, it crushed the mail that you wear on your leg through the padding that you wear on your leg, and it crushed the mail into your flesh. So you've got the mail has been forced into your leg with the padding and everything. So it's all kind of it's not really serious. It's not an injury. It's not a wound. It's not a wound. So it's not going to take weeks to recover, but it's going to take days to recover.
Okay.
Yeah, Maehna, you can take a look at it if you want.
Okay.
Maehna's got healing 3, at least can bandage it up, stop the bleeding.
Benjamin, are you going to allow that to happen?
Stabilize him.
Yes, it's my leg. I'm fine.
It's just a flesh wound. He's gonna grin and bear it.
You want to get one of those? Want to get that dead animal? Make boots out of it?
I think the other
If you want to carry it.
I need to pound out this piece of metal.
Steffan, as you see the crocodile sinking into the water, and you can see that there used to be a dock here, and there used to be boats moored up against the water, and it looks like they've been sunk. There's a couple of sort of rowboat sized or river boats that are lying sunken on the bottom of the river right near here. You notice this.
I'll cautiously check them out.
Would you like to roll? Yep. Let's see.
Cautious? Do you have cautious?
I'm gonna guess that swim. Yeah. Okay. So athletics. You swim down there.
Well, I have no athletics. Well, I have 2, I guess.
Yep. You have 2.
9.
Okay. Yeah. You're good as long as alligators don't come back.
That's what I'm being cautious about.
You swim down there to the boats. It looks like they've got they've got holes in them, like they got intentionally sunk. They're old and ruined. You see some skeletons down there, and a great big sword. Like you see the hilt like sticking out of a corpse.
I bet you. All right. I'm gonna take the sword.
Okay. All right. You tug at it, and you have to tug a few times. You're about to run out of air, but then desperation kicks in, and you free it, and you swim to the surface. It's a big, great sword.
Who needs air when you have a sword?
That's right. It's a sword of water breathing. Watch.
Now, see, if it was D&D, it would be one of those.
I know. How useless.
So Steffan climbs back up onto shore, dragging this great sword. It's got rust.
Is it bigger than him?
Is it bigger than me?
Probably. His bow is bigger than him.
Yeah. It's a great sword. It's counting the hand. If you stand it up on the put the tip on the ground, it's like 6 feet high. Counting the.
What you got there, Steffan?
What's it look like?
Sword. Is there anything interesting about it?
You don't really. You've never seen a sword. You've never had a sword before. It looks. I mean, you don't know how. Your main concern is you don't know if it's still any good because it's covered in rust.
Yeah, it doesn't look very good.
It's more scary that way.
But mostly it's a great sword, and those you don't see those every day.
No. I just didn't know if there's letters carved in it or something like that. I know nothing about the sword itself.
Right. No, no distinguishing features like that. Actually, let's make up something. Yes. The cross piece has a Targaryen symbol on it, there's a dragon wrapped around the hilt.
Well,
looks like there were little spots for rubies where its eyes were, but the rubies have been pried out.
Oh, look at this. Look how big you'd have to be to wield this. People must have been like 9 feet tall. Imagine the shield they would wear with this. Amazing.
Like this one that we've got that has the stuff on the back.
No, that's a normal shield. This would be a shield for a 9 foot tall person. It'd be huge. Wield this. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay.
That's Steffan's belief.
They would have to be as
it.
big as a very large animal.
As big as a bear. All right. It's like 1 in the afternoon.
I think we should probably head home. What say you, my lord?
Home is in home, or home is in the hold?
You're along the river right now.
So I don't know that we can make it back. Can we?
You could go along the river's edge and maybe make it home by nightfall. If you didn't go, you would not go back in the forest. You would just follow the river south.
Well, Benjamin's injured too.
My lord, should we actually look inside the tower itself? We should see if the signs of bandits are in there.
There's no sign. You guys have explored the rest of you were exploring the tower while Benjamin was attracting crocodiles. The tower is empty.
Yep.
And if we didn't attract anybody with our lamp lighting ceremony and with our
blood-curdling
Here.
screams.
They may not want to engage us, and we may not find them on this run.
Yeah, it seems curious that no one has attacked us. It's giving me a strange sense of confidence here.
There is nobody in there. Maybe there are no bandits.
But given Benjamin's injury, which is going to take days, I mean, we need to head back. And if we can make it back by nightfall, I say we give it a good shot.
All right, so you want to follow the river south then and stay out of the woods?
Yeah,
Okay.
Ideally. Looking for any goddamn alligators to try and avoid.
Do you want to stay on this side of the river? I mean, if you wanted to, you could try and swim across the river, and then you'd be safe.
Yeah, swim across the alligator-infested river with a bloody, wounded leg. Great plan.
Or not. It was just an idea.
Yeah, I like going swimming in my mail.
All right.
Alligators are my
We'll
third
just
biggest fear.
hulk the Benjamin and float across.
All right. You travel south then, smart asses. You travel for it gets late. You don't make as good time as you would have liked because you're on the river's edge and it's still difficult terrain. So it takes you about 2 hours to go 1 hex. So it's getting to be about 6 o'clock at night when you spot another ruin right before you emerge from the forest completely.
Just one last little temptation.
Yeah, exactly. And you probably skip it because you won't get home in time if you stop to investigate it. But
It's a good place for us to come next as soon as we're ready to start again. So
I mean, Will's got to send a party to collect his bear and his alligator.
And it is killing me thinking about how cool that would be to have both of those trophies.
Look at these mighty things other people kill.
It reminds me of the time I swung my sword.
As you're passing along the river, it's dusk now, and the sun is setting. You can actually see the sunset, to the west, and it's beautiful across the river on the farms of Riverthorn. For those of you that have forgotten, Riverthorn is a place plagued with the Red Plague. Steffan, that's where you escaped from. You and your father are from Riverthorn.
Yep.
He lost his sight to the Red Plague. His eyes bled out.
oh.
So he's been blind as long as you've known him. But as you, from behind you, as you watch the sun, you can see buried in the woods. So it's not on the river's edge, but it's inside the trees. But within sight of the river, you can see some stone buildings. You're not sure exactly what they are or what from the river. You can't make out any details, but you see something in there that looks like it must be buildings. But you can explore them or you can head home.
I'm inclined to head home.
Maehna can offer to scout the buildings if the Lord wants to split the party.
Well, it's everybody give me endurance checks. Everybody roll endurance.
I don't.
If you don't have it, then it's
endurance.
Dice. Yep, 2 dice.
Nice. 11.
Oh, good. Oh, Steffan falls behind. Okay.
I would have thought a big sword was heavy.
That's your
10.
8.
Okay, so wow, Benjamin, you got an 8 because of your injury.
Oh no, I forgot minus my injury. So that'd be a 6 then.
6.
So.
Okay. So you guys, it's like it takes you a couple of hours. It's like 6 o'clock when you spot the castle, the ruins in the woods, and then you keep traveling. the river turns east, and it's about 7 o'clock at night, so it's getting dark. You know where Tannerton is from here? There's a road if you just keep on going, but you can't cross the river. So it's like midnight by the time you get to the ferry. Steffan and Benjamin take a level of exhaustion. You have exhaustion 1, which counts like an injury. It means that you're -1 on everything.
Oh, good. Okay. So now I'm -3. Yay.
Now you're -3. And you can have a number of those equal to your endurance without basically falling unconscious.
Okay.
From fatigue. But you reach the ferry and young Ned at about midnight. And you roused him from his bed, which he happily does for Benjamin, who saved his family's livelihood. And he ferries you back across the river to Tannerton. A successful expedition into the forest. It will take a few days, at least, for probably take a few days for Benjamin's wounds to heal. Steffan, your sword is a castle forged greatsword. That adds 1 to its damage once you get it cleaned up.
Now we just got to teach you how to use that thing.
He can use it. He has 2 dice.
Maehna, in true the Lord fashion, will turn over the shield they found.
Yes. Okay.
The Lord.
She gives you the shield. It's a large shield with the inscription written on the inside. I will figure out XP. Probably before, but it might not be. I'll look.
All right. So I go to great length to tell the tale of Benjamin Bearslayer.
Okay. Yes.
And you need to call him Bearslayer now. Benjamin Bearslayer.
Okay.
That's my whole goal.
Yes.
Well, that's one of my other goals, to get the sword cleaned up. So I'll talk to a blacksmith about how to do that.
All right. Well, it's Benjamin Bearslayer. Done.
And how about Maehna Jaw Splitter or something, right? There was another Jawbreaker. Maehna Jawbreaker.
Maehna Jawbreaker.
You know, you missed your opportunity. You should have said, after a while, crocodile.
Sorry, I just can barely keep up with the bear puns that I was just all out.
Now, I know that as you know, Tanner was saying, it doesn't feel very Game of Thronesy to be exploring a forest and finding treasure and fighting monsters, but I figured, what the hell? Like, let's. It's a good way for us
to do once in a while.
What?
It's fun to do once in a while.
Yeah. It seemed like a good adventure.
No, what I meant.
What do you think the Rangers do when they go north of the wall? They explore.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tanner.
What I meant by that was I was thinking, like, in terms of what the game. You know, what's the driving force of the game, right? It's that you're trying to build glory and story of characters and interrelationships, right? So even while we're in the woods, I'm thinking we're ultimately trying to map this land and find this guy, right? Because there's this larger family dynamic at play. Yeah,
and I think that, and I thought we had some pretty good role playing bits in the forest, you know, Yeah, so it's a lot more fun. It's not just like, you know, okay, fight the monster, take the treasure and the XP. Like there's, and I'm trying to build. There's a mystery in the forest, but I'm trying to always link it in with the story of the setting, right? Like it's all Targaryen stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And it becomes linked. If it was just a random puzzle, it might still be intellectually challenging, but it wouldn't feel like Westeros.
Yeah.
Right. And if I can make it feel like Westeros while still also being a puzzle solving and exploration, then we win.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think.
That was fun.
Okay, good. Well, we'll probably continue because you haven't completed your mission.
So was that riddle bullshit, or will that come back up to play?
You haven't solved it yet, and you also haven't solved you don't know where Dugar is either.
All right, riddle's
So-
still in play. Good to know.
So I
There's
think
plenty,
we need to
there's
go
plenty
back.
of forest. There's plenty of forest still to explore. Right?
Yeah.
And I mean, plus it's really curious we didn't get attacked at all while making as much noise as possible. Like,
They were probably just sitting in the trees laughing at us.
but it's interesting to me.
What these guys are doing, they must be super tough to be blundering around like that. They don't even care.
Somebody really doesn't want to be found to be having all this rumor of bandits keeping them out.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and close down the video. For those of you that are watching, we're going to pick back up with Chapter 2 of Wyvernwood next game. And
If you can bear it.
if you can bear it. And thanks for watching.